Bigfoot encounters often start with an eerie silence before turning dangerously hostile. From a thrown rock in Ontario's woods to a heavy metallic impact hitting a vehicle during a blizzard, are these unseen creatures warning us to stay away. On June 20th, 2026, Angbona TV uploaded a solo overnight investigation, filmed in a remote forest in Ontario, Canada. The channel follows Angelo through isolated campsites, nighttime explorations, Bigfoot reports, and unexplained activity. He had visited this forest before, but the area still felt unpredictable. As he followed the trail toward the creek, distant calls, strange knocks, and unseen movement slowly turned an ordinary camping trip into something far more unsettling. Angelo enters the forest alone, passing the bench, where an unusually tall figure has reportedly been seen. With those Bigfoot sightings in mind, he continues downhill toward the creek.
All right, time to go. Let's go and see if we can find this Sasquatch out here. My goal is to honestly catch him on camera if we can. There's something moving out there. It always seems like there's something off in this direction. And interestingly enough, there's a lot of fallen trees. Anytime he sees a lot of fallen trees, he's like, oh, Bigfoot activity. And there's a lot of that right here. There's even some really big ones the further down you go. There is definitely something out here in these woods. Oh, Mr. Bigfoot! I mean, clearly these ones have been cut, but I guess they did fall at some time. Something very strong came through and pushed them over, which is a possibility. I don't know. Alright, not too far off is going to be the creek. Just lots of fallen trees over here. And lots of creepy noises, always. Like I said, it's always off in this direction. I mean, like I said, some of them have clearly been cut, but they may have either been pushed over or just fallen over time. Okay, I think I heard a coyote. Yeah, off in that direction. Oh yeah, lots of them. Are they in the woods? Or are they sound kind of distant? I mean, I don't really care much for coyotes, but they're usually not much of a problem. So let's just be cautious out here, I guess. What was that? Okay, that moan was a little bit different. That was definitely not a coyote. Something just moved over there. Oh, there it is again. Just nature noises, or was that something else? I mean, we definitely heard like a weird moan down in this direction, and something very heavy as well. Also, why does that dog sound so close? There are like houses off in that direction, but they're not that close. I definitely heard something. Maybe a tree collapse, but that moan was just definitely something else. There's 100% something going on.
As he follows the trail deeper into the valley, he notices several large trees that have broken or fallen. Before long, coyotes begin calling from somewhere in the distance, disturbing the silence around him.
It's abnormally warm for October, but it's kind of nice. At least we're not freezing to death. Constant movement. Oh. Okay. What was that? Okay, that sounded like a person. Almost like somebody called out. Like yelled something off in the distance. Hello? So when I pulled up, there was no cars. So, I don't know. That definitely sounded like a person though. That was creepy. Hello? Is there somebody out here? I mean, I have seen somebody out here a long time ago. Never saw them again after that. I was actually like right about here, I think. And this dude just out of nowhere showed up, started yelling at me, had a knife with him. And I'm like, okay, that's not good. It's a bit of a cause for concern. I know I'm stopping a lot, guys, but I'm hearing a lot of noises. lot of movement. Hello? It's creepy.
The situation becomes more unsettling when Angelo enters a dark section of the ravine and hears what sounds like a man shouting from somewhere ahead. He calls hello, and a short voice-like sound appears to answer. Making the moment even more disturbing, Angelo recalls that a stranger carrying a knife once threatened him near this same location. Despite the strange encounter, Angelo continues until he reaches a wooden bridge over the dry creek bed.
Yeah, there's the bridge. So I think where I kind of want to start is back there. Or maybe I'll set up a camera, observe that area, camp out on this side. That hike was pretty killer. Man, there's like almost no water right now. Normally this place is a flow-in. That actually means that we might be able to go further in. What was that? It sounded almost like a rock or something. Hello? Like it kind of sounded like it was down there. Definitely not the first time we've heard that. Something's like on my arm. That took a little bit out of me to get my ass down here. But like I said, we are going to camp out in this area. I don't know what it is with this particular spot. I guess Bigfoot activity is what you could call it. So we do have some proof already that there's something out here. So we do have like the story of this whispering woman. So for those of you who might be new here and have never heard this story, there were some hikers who came through here and they saw a woman who was whispering. When they eventually tried to catch up with her later on, she was gone. Like literally nowhere to be found. Shit. Trying to figure out exactly how close they are. Oh, they're down here. They're literally right over there. That's a little bit of a cause for concern. Just heard some movement back there. That could turn into a problem. When you're dealing with a pack of coyotes is when they tend to get a little bit brave. Now, I didn't bring any food or anything with me, so there's not really a scent for them to pick up on.
He hears impacts below that sound, like rocks striking the ground. At the same time, the coyotes move closer and appear to be calling from beneath the nearby slope. As their voices continue around him, Angelo begins considering whether he should start a fire for protection. Instead of leaving immediately, Angelo tries to learn whether something is nearby.
I'm going to try and find two decent rocks somewhere. And we're going to create some knock noises and see if we can maybe try to communicate with Mr. Bigfoot. What the heck was that? I don't know what that was. I heard something like fall down there. Anyways, let's see if we can make contact with Bigfoot. Hey, Mr. Bigfoot! Okay, I'll stop now. So moved over here. I think there's a lot of frogs right now, so it's probably what we're hearing roaming through the leaves. Let's try one more time. I mean, 3 knocks, right? That was a whoop. Sounded like it came from back there. Was it a whoop? I swear it was a whoop. Almost kind of like how Lomar does it too. Should we try one more time? Nothing really that time. Maybe I'm trying to think of what to do here. Maybe we'll focus on setting up our camp. But that was 3 knocks. 3 knocks back there. That legit sounded like rocks. Maybe we should go down there and investigate.
He strikes 2 rocks together to create a signal. A short whoop follows from deeper in the woods. Then a low grunt-like sound comes from around the bridge, making it seem as though something has responded.
Oh, we've never actually been this far back. At least now we get a cool look at this area. Looks like over the years, I guess, yeah, they look like they've been here for a very long time. Okay. Something just, that was a rock. That was a rock. That was a coyote, but that was a rock. Something 100% just like threw a rock in this direction. Okay, are we under attack right now? Well, now you can see just how close they are. Or here, rather. Okay, let's get back over there. Something definitely threw a freaking rock over here, though. Yeah, let's get back. Just in case these assholes show up. Okay, we're gonna move a little further back to our usual camping spot, because those guys are a little... Might get a little fire going just to make sure we keep them away.
Encouraged by the apparent response, he moves farther into the creek bed where several logs are piled together. Suddenly, a rock is thrown with force in his direction. Angelo begins to suspect that a Bigfoot may be watching him and trying to force him out of the area. Concerned for his safety, he immediately retreats to his usual campsite. Back at camp, Angelo gathers wood and starts a small fire beside the creek. However, the activity does not stop.
Like I said, I'm going to keep this fire extremely small, and we got to be very cautious. But the nice thing is that there is no breeze, so we don't got to be too worried about sparks catching other things. It only serves one purpose, and that's going to be to keep the wildlife away. I thought I heard something moving over there. Alright, put the rest of these away. Double bagged in Ziplocs because they're stinky, but they work. There we go. Alright, should be good. There we go. Just need some brute force. Perfect. That was something moaning. That was creepy. I'm just waiting to see if we hear it again. Kind of sounded like it came in that direction. Or from that direction. See if we hear it again. But that is not like a normal, in my opinion anyways, not really a normal sound. What in the hell was that? Hello? I just saw eyes. There's something there. Hang on a second. There's something there. I just saw eyes looking off in this direction. Weird right now, but like literally right through there. I heard something. Whatever that was kind of loud. There is 100% something going on out here. I don't see anything though. Whatever it was, I think it was on the other side of the creek. It was a little hard to tell. But I saw something like, it looked like it blinked. Like white, and then just blinked. Maybe it was a coyote down there or something? I don't know, I couldn't really see the shape of it though.
A long moan soon comes from the opposite bank. When he shines his light toward the sound, he sees two white reflective eyes. They appear to blink before disappearing, but no body or clear shape can be seen. With the night growing increasingly strange, Angelo activates a spirit box and receives several unusual signals. The unclear responses seem to point toward a mysterious story connected to the forest, adding another unsettling layer to the experience. The tension continues as Angelo prepares to set up his tent.
Let's start setting up the tent. That was really creepy. For like a second, right before I hit the record button, I thought I heard like a voice. And the strange thing, it sounded like it said my name. This place is very multifaceted as to like what's out here. So, of course, I only brought the one-man tent, which is cool. Okay, I guess right here would probably work the best. I just don't want to be directly next to the fire because that could end badly for. There we go. Let's close it first so that it's easier to line it up. Okay, we're good to go. Where are we?
Before turning on the camera, he says that a whisper from the nearby bushes called his name. Soon after, just as he is preparing to sleep, a powerful crash sounds near the wooden bridge like a falling tree or something striking the structure. Startled by the noise, Angelo places a night vision camera on the bridge before returning to his tent. By around 3:30 in the morning, Angelo has had enough and begins packing. The coyotes are still calling near the creek after remaining active through much of the night. As he climbs back toward the bench, more knocks follow him from the darkness. His flashlight begins losing power, but he eventually reaches the upper trail and heads back toward his vehicle. Wildlife or another person could explain some of the sounds. However, viewers noted that the calls, knocks, thrown rock, and moaning often followed Angelo's actions, creating the impression of a deliberate response. Were these unrelated forest events, or was something warning Angelo to leave its territory? On August 1st, 2026, CamPrime uploaded a solo car camping trip filmed in a remote forest in Japan. The channel focuses on sleeping in vehicles, outdoor cooking, and quiet journeys through isolated locations, sometimes linked to strange creatures and Bigfoot stories. At first, the campsite seemed calm, but after darkness settled over the trees, an unexplained howl, a strong animal odor, and a mysterious mark on the vehicle raised troubling questions about what was nearby. As the camper drives deeper into the remote forest, the peaceful surroundings begin to feel strangely uncomfortable. The road is quiet, but he cannot shake the feeling that something may be watching from behind the trees. Faint noises move through the brush and mix with the wind passing between the branches. Nothing clearly appears, yet the sense of an unseen presence remains.
あと120。おー、完璧だねこれ。完璧じゃない？おー、完璧。イエーイ。じゃあ乾杯。あー、うまい。 끔찍한 거야. 아닐까? 맛있어. 맛있어. 여기였어. 와.
He reaches the campsite and prepares the vehicle before darkness fully covers the forest. The evening continues normally as he cooks dinner and settles inside. Still, the thick woods surrounding the car make the campsite feel completely isolated. While sitting alone inside the vehicle, that uneasy feeling returns. Small sounds seem to come from beyond the windows, hidden beneath the movement of the wind. He cannot identify their source, but the darkness outside now feels much closer than before.
It is possible that some of these could be wild humans.
There was a...
On each other. It's just what we do. So when Jerry sees these prints, he's assuming that the guys are pulling his leg.
It was found nearby in a gully, but it had these giant, human-like footprints nearby.
To a ditch. And what is around it? Track.
Given the size of the footprint, there are people who really saw something and they really want answers that could possibly find those answers. Once everybody thinks Bigfoot is made up, though, they stop taking the search seriously. That original Humboldt Times story from 1958 is never officially debunked. that is,
To investigate. So the LA Times, New York Times, they all show up because they want a piece of Bigfoot.
The whole country is buzzing about this. Everyone has an opinion. What the film shows us is a massive bipedal creature. It's covered head to toe in this sort of silvery brown fur.
it also appears to have mammary glands. Gill and Patterson theorized that they're looking at a female Bigfoot. They nickname her Patty after Roger Patterson.
To pass the time, he begins watching a documentary about Bigfoot and other unexplained creatures. The subject matches the old stories connected to the forest, making the silence outside feel even more noticeable. Then a long howl suddenly echoes through the trees. The sound carries across the forest and immediately breaks the calm inside the vehicle. He listens carefully, unsure what could have produced it. The possibility of a wolf seems unlikely because wild wolves have long been considered extinct in Japan. That leaves the source of the howl unclear. Rather than staying inside, he puts on a headlamp and walks toward the direction of the sound. As he moves into the darkness, a strong animal odor reaches him through the air. The smell is heavy and close, suggesting that something may have recently passed through the area. Looking down, he notices faint tracks on the ground. Their shape is difficult to see clearly, and he cannot identify what made them. With the howl still fresh in his mind and the odor surrounding him, he decides that going farther would be unsafe. He quickly turns back toward the vehicle. He locks himself inside and tries to sleep. No creature is seen and the rest of the night appears quiet. However, there is no camera watching the area outside the car. The next morning, he steps outside and discovers a large muddy smear across the side of the vehicle. The mark looks as though a large hand or body may have rubbed against or struck the car during the night. He never heard or saw what caused it, leaving one disturbing possibility: whatever made the howl may have followed him back to the campsite. A wild animal could explain the howl odor tracks and mud. However, viewers wondered whether the mark was a territorial warning from something larger. What approached the vehicle during the night, and why was nothing captured outside? On February 20, 2025, Paranormal Discovery uploaded Lomar's solo investigation from the UNC Gold Mine District near Grim Valley, Nova Scotia, Canada. The channel explores paranormal locations, Bigfoot reports, and unexplained activity in remote wilderness areas. Lomar entered the abandoned mining region during a severe snowstorm, hoping to find signs of Sasquatch. But once darkness covered the frozen forest, the storm was no longer the only danger surrounding his campsite.
You know what would be cool? If an actual Bigfoot literally just walked up. I mean, maybe not in the dark. I mean, I really don't wish that right now. As much as I am here to Bigfoot hunt, Sasquatch hunt, whatever. I mean, just being alone, man, it's dangerous. There is a creepy vibe, right? I'm not just feeling that randomly. There is a very, very creepy vibe here. Oh, it's warm in here. I got this spirit doctor. What the fuck was that? My blood. Okay. I have to shout out to the Philippines, man. My homeland. The Philippines.
I've been here 300 years. Evil.
Evil. Someone evil here? Was there evil casted by the indigenous?
Jess.
Talk to me.
He will affect everyone.
Am I in danger here? Oh shit. I'm gonna do my best out here. It's a lot more like annoying out here than it really looks on camera. It's just annoying to be outside. One of those days, you know, you want to be in, but you know what I'm saying? My journey has only begun.
After building a fire near the forest's edge, Lomar activates a spirit box. One of the first words he hears is evil. The device cannot prove that anything supernatural is present, but the timing makes the isolated campsite feel more threatening. Outside the firelight, the snowstorm continues to hide the trees and reduce his view of the surrounding area.
Hello? Somebody there? Yo, this is actually trippy. Man, everything is iced over. It's actually like fucking ice. Everything. So I'm actually gonna listen for a bit, and then because I'm hearing like kind of this, like with the boots, like just walking, but also like tree knocking. I heard like a thump.
Before long, unusual sounds begin coming from beyond the camp. Lomar hears what seems like weight pressing into the frozen snow, followed by several short, sharp knocks. The noises resemble footsteps and wood striking wood. Wind can move branches and drop snow from trees, but these sounds appear separate from the constant noise of the storm. They also seem close enough to make Lomar stop and listen.
I've been hearing this weird movement in this way. So I'm wondering, like, somebody in there? Listen. Right there.
My name is Virginia.
Oh shit. What the? There's something moving back there. Hear that? It's moving.
Unexplained.
Oh shit. Snowstorm's coming in. What the hell? It's like in this area right here.
16.
I'm trying to be quiet so you guys can listen. Shit.
Am I dead?
Yes, you are. Guys, something is right in there. I hear it. And I see like a shadow moving way back in there. Listen to that.
We live on here.
You live on? Am I in the presence of something more than a human? Like a creature of some sort? Holy shit, guys. Oh my god. What the hell? Something does not feel right. In there. I see it. I see something moving. What the fuck? I'm sorry guys, I'm trying to capture this the best I can. It's like in there, like directly.
The activity soon becomes harder to ignore. Lomar raises his flashlight and aims it into the thick bushes. Branches shake, something moves between the trees, and a large dark shape seems to shift behind the falling snow. He cannot see a clear body face or outline. However, the movement appears heavy enough to disturb the brush and break smaller branches. After that, the spirit box produces the word vengeful. Another response is interpreted as "Am I dead? Yes." These phrases may be random outputs from the device, yet their dark meaning adds to the tension, while Lomar watches the unexplained movement outside the beam of his flashlight. Then the situation suddenly escalates.
Oh! Whoa! Who the f***'s there? I just started recording. No way. I hope that footage caught that.
Suddenly.
Holy.
Blissfulness.
What the? Who is there? The hell? What the hell is like ice chunks up there? What the fuck? I think somebody just threw something at me. That was like a chunk of ice smoking the top of the Jeep. Fucking duck. Oh shit.
While Lomar is filming near the edge of the campsite, a hard object strikes the roof of his Jeep with a loud metallic thump. The impact is strong enough to make him react immediately. He cannot see whether the object was ice, a rock, or frozen debris shaken loose by the storm. Some Bigfoot researchers and enthusiasts associate thrown rocks or branches with territorial warnings. According to that theory, an unseen creature may throw objects near people to make them leave. However, the video does not show the object's path, so there is no way to confirm that it was deliberately thrown.
Guys, I'm literally in the presence of something right now, and I have no idea what the I do see bear tracks though, and I do have to admit though, bears do not hibernate through the winter here. One day it'll be like +2. The next week it'll be like sub-zero temperatures with a bunch of snow, right? So I do see black bear prints over there. That doesn't explain what hit the roof.
My body was taken.
I gotta chill out for a second. Listen. I'm I'm gonna leave
Rachel's
it.
here.
I'm gonna leave it just like this for a second. There's like movement coming from. Oh. Okay. I think I gotta get out of here. The wind's coming. I gotta get out of here before I get covered in like a foot of snow. Or like spin out of here and get stuck for the rest of the night. It's close to me.
Soon afterward, Lomar discovers black bear tracks in the snow near the campsite. This offers a realistic explanation for at least some of the footsteps and movement in the bushes. Although bears often become less active during winter, changing conditions can sometimes bring them outside. For Lomar, that possibility is dangerous enough on its own. He is alone, visibility is poor, and a large wild animal may be nearby. Lomar quickly gathers his equipment and climbs into the Jeep. Once the doors are locked, the spirit box produces one final disturbing word: ruination. He then leaves through the worsening storm, unsure whether he encountered a bear falling ice or something else that remained hidden among the trees. The bear tracks may explain the movement, while the storm could explain the impact. Still, the knocks and timing led some viewers to suspect a territorial warning. Did Lomar encounter one dangerous animal, or were several different things surrounding his camp? Deep in the isolated forests of rural Pennsylvania, two teenagers saw something among the trees that left them frozen with fear. The brief phone recording captured a dark figure neither of them could explain. The account was shared on Reddit by Lucas, a 15-year-old who filmed the encounter while exploring with his friend Gavin. The shaky, heavily zoomed footage looks through a dense line of trees. Just before recording, the boys noticed a sudden foul odor in the air. When Lucas aimed his phone toward the brush, a massive dark figure appeared, crouched low between the branches. It seemed to stare directly at them. In the final seconds, the figure rose into a tall, human-like posture. It then moved quickly into the deeper woods and disappeared. Lucas and Gavin remained silent, too frightened to react. They later considered whether it could have been a bear or another person. However, its size and human-like movement convinced them they had entered Sasquatch territory. Still, the poor visibility may have changed how the figure appeared. Was it an animal, a person, or something unexplained? A hunter recorded something that would be examined for years. Hidden behind thick branches, a massive dark figure appeared to be tearing apart a tree until one sudden movement forced the cameraman to run. Recorded by Josh Highcliffe in October 2013, the video later became widely known as the Mississippi skunk ape footage. The encounter begins as Highcliffe carefully moves through a dense, waterlogged swamp while searching for game. The silence is suddenly broken by heavy, repeated thuds nearby. Highcliffe stops when he realizes that something large is disturbing the vegetation just ahead. As he aims the camera through the branches, a towering black figure becomes visible near the base of a large cypress tree. The figure appears to tear large pieces of wood from the trunk. Its arms move with slow, heavy force, suggesting considerable strength. As it shifts its upper body, the footage seems to reveal a broad chest, unusually long arms, and a thick covering of dark hair. Highcliffe remains dangerously close while filming through the dense vegetation. The situation becomes more alarming when the figure begins adjusting its position, as though it may be preparing to stand fully upright. As its body shifts, its apparent height and muscular frame become easier to see through the branches. Overwhelmed by fear, Highcliffe stops recording, turns around, and runs through the swamp to escape the area. The Mississippi footage has fascinated Bigfoot researchers for years, but the figure remains unidentified. Dense brush and camera zoom may distort its size. Was it a bear, an unknown primate, or something else? The footage comes from YouTube user MoPower08 and has become part of the ongoing discussion surrounding the Florida skunk ape. This Bigfoot-like creature has reportedly been sighted more than 600 times in Florida's swamps since the 1800s. Witnesses often describe both its large size and an overpowering odor. The camera is positioned low and aimed across thick Florida vegetation, including palmetto brush and standing water. In terrain this dense, both sound and visibility can quickly disappear. Voices behind the camera attempt to steady the shot and adjust the focus toward the tree line. News of the possible sighting spreads quickly. Vehicles begin stopping along the road as more people gather near the edge of the brush. They search the scrub, trying to understand what might be hidden inside it.
Folks, Tim Fasano here. This is the exact spot where Mike shot the viral video of the Bigfoot that was back there. Give you an idea. There's some people right there. There's my cab. I want to show you something. You should be able to see it. It's like matted grass, like a trail, and it goes here, and it circles around.
For several moments, only the wind moves through the palmetto leaves. This is Miyaka country, an area connected to some of the most debated skunk ape footage ever recorded. Then a dark, upright shape becomes visible near the edge of the frame. It remains partly concealed by the vegetation and could easily be mistaken for a stump of shadow or an effect of the swamp light. The camera stays fixed and the shape remains still. Then for about 5 seconds, it appears to shift. The movement seems controlled, as though a body is changing position against the surrounding brush. After that brief motion, everything becomes still again.
He's up with the group. Stacy's looking for that print.
Only a few seconds of movement remain for viewers to study. Skeptics blame wind and pareidolia, while believers see possible skunk ape evidence. Did the figure move, or did the swamp create the illusion? In a segment featured by Travel Channel, Sean Sullivan and his 8-year-old son Brendan described a frightening encounter in the Ouachita National Forest. The incident took place on a cold winter morning in 2014, during what began as a normal nature walk. The forest remained calm until Brendan stopped near a patch of ice. At that moment, the camera recorded deep, rhythmic breathing coming from somewhere among the trees. The sound seemed unusually heavy and close.
Rafe, shh. What is it? Hey, get over here. Get over here, Rafe. What is it? What is that? Stay behind me. What is it? Are you kidding me?
Soon after, a low growl could be heard. Sean immediately moved Brendan behind him and searched the tree line. Through the brush, a dark, human-like shape appeared to move between the trees. Realizing that something was nearby, Sean told his son to run.
All right, let's go. Go.
Hi, my name is Brendan Sullivan, and this is Sean Sullivan.
I'm his dad. It was definitely a scary moment. We were probably about 20 or 30 minutes into the walk, and I hear something.
Shh. What is it?
And I see something like a shadow or something in the woods.
They began backing away from the trail, but the figure did not appear to leave. Instead, it seemed to remain near them and follow their movement through the woods.
In the first part of this video, you see something moving off in the distance. The second part of the video, however, there does seem to be a figure hiding behind a tree that can't be a deer, because obviously the back end would stick out the other side.
As they tried to create more distance, Sean and Brendan stopped and looked back one final time. A large, upright figure appeared from behind a thick tree and seemed to peer around the trunk in their direction. That final sight was enough. Sean and Brendan turned and ran from the forest as quickly as possible. Their hurried footsteps filled the recording as they escaped the area. Dense trees can distort sound and make distant animals seem much closer, while shadows may create human-like shapes. Was something truly following them? Or did fear transform ordinary forest sounds and movement into something far more disturbing? The footage was shared through BigfootReport.com, operated by Taser Media, a channel that collects and examines raw Bigfoot videos submitted by witnesses across North America. The camera sits low in a wooded backyard facing dense vegetation beyond the lawn. Palmetto-like brush and thick growth limit visibility. No one is watching the recording live, and nothing unusual is expected to emerge from the trees. Then a gap in the vegetation suddenly changes. A dark, upright shape crosses through it with a smooth, deliberate stride that does not appear to belong to an animal moving on 4 legs. Before anyone can react, the figure disappears back into the brush. It soon returns. This time, a dark mass appears to be pressed against its body, affecting its balance as it moves quickly along the edge of the yard. The figure seems determined to reach cover before anyone notices it clearly. The footage is then slowed and enlarged. Frame by frame, viewers examine its broad shoulders, loose rolling walk, and the way its weight shifts from side to side. It remains visible in the opening for nearly 30 seconds before disappearing into the vegetation again. A light patch on the figure's chest led some viewers to think it was carrying something, though it may have been reflected light. With no clearer angle, the question remains: was it holding an object, or was it only a camera illusion? That's all for tonight's video. Which encounter gave you chills? Let us know in the comments below. Got your own experience? We want to hear it. And whatever you do, don't miss what's coming next.